Hello, I'm Hannah. I'm an educator and coach at Fitch & Associates. In this video, we're looking at one of the 5 leadership practices of exemplary leaders from the work of Jim Kouzes and Barry Posner. They lay out a system that highlights 5 practices or categories, if you will, of exemplary leadership. And those practices are model the way, challenge the process, encourage the heart, inspire a shared vision, and finally, enable others to act. That last one, enable others to act, is the focus of our video today. It's all about cultivating a sense of personal power and ownership among those you lead. That's such an important part of owning the work that you do and being motivated by the work that you do, is that ownership piece. And leaders are a part of that. So just remember this. Remember this. Enabling others to act is only possible if there is a healthy, team-wide embrace of interdependence. This is the idea that progress is made when we truly accept that we rely on others for the work that we're doing. We never are successful by ourselves. We are only successful with others. Okay, so here's what it sounds like when people feel powerless. Okay, so this is what people might say, or what you might hear among people who feel powerless at work. No one was interested in, or listened to, or paid attention to my opinion or my questions. Here's another one. I had no input into an important decision that affected the way I did my work. I had no input on that. And finally, here's another one. Someone else took credit for my hard work and results. Okay, that's just going to lead to frustration, but essentially, these people that are saying these things feel powerless in the way that they work, and they feel powerless in the environment that their leaders have created for them. So here's what it sounds like when people feel powerful. So this is what we want to be hearing from our teams and from our departments. All the important information and data were shared with me. I was able to exercise discretion about how we would handle a situation. I could decide for myself. Here's another one. I made decisions about key aspects of the project. Decision making. And finally, the supervisor told others about the great work I was doing. These are all statements from people who feel powerful in the work that they're doing. And it is their leaders who have made that environment possible. And so if enabling others to act is something that you'd like to incorporate more into your leadership style, there are 2 things for you to keep in mind as a sort of a commitment or a mindset. There's 2 pieces to this that I hope that you can lean into. The first one is to create a climate of trust. All of this ownership and all of this feeling powerful, it's only going to come if you help create and curate a culture of trust. Trust is at the heart of collaboration, and it's the central issue in human relationships. Leaders must be able to trust others, and leaders must be able to be trusted. Take that risk for the sake of your own work culture of trusting others. Be the first to trust. This is for your team, and this is for those who are looking to you for guidance and leadership. So that's the first one. Curate that culture of trust, and do that by being the first to trust. That'll go a long way. Here's the second commitment, or the second piece of the mindset. Facilitate relationships. Facilitate relationships. If you are the facilitator of relationships, if you are making relationships happen, and if you are nurturing good relationships, then you are the one setting the culture. You are the one setting the standard and determining how much trust is a part of your culture. That's going to be so important. So to achieve extraordinary things, people have to rely on one another. They have to. Leaders are the ones who create the conditions where people know they can count on one another. Accountability feeds into that. Being trustworthy feeds into that. The consequences of this are huge. So your teams need to know that you expect reliability from them and that they can rely on the rest of their team or they won't be able to do anything cooperatively. And then that's not a team at all. If there's no cooperation, it's not much of a team. So let's get into the 6 specific behaviors that our researchers have found fall into this category of enabling others to act. So when I read the behavior, it'll be in the form of an I statement, like I develop or I consistently do. And so I'm hoping that you can think about these statements and see if when you say them, when you think about them, how big of a part of your work life are they? And I'll offer 1 or 2 questions to help you think about that behavior. So here we go. First I statement. I develop cooperative relationships among the people I work with. That is something that you can do intentionally, and that doesn't typically happen by accident. I develop cooperative relationships among the people I work with. And right, it's not just you and another person, it's Sally and Jim, and it's Susan and Sarah. Right? So you can be helping facilitate relationships among the people that you work with. So here's a question for you. What are the key relationships that you should nurture in order to be successful in your job? What are the relationships that you should nurture? Perhaps it's you and a colleague, you and a direct report and a direct report. What kind of relationships should you be nurturing in order for you to be successful in your job? Here's the second behavior, the second I statement. I actively listen to diverse points of view. Remember that you're the tone setter. You're the one helping establish what the trust in this place looks like. Are you actively listening to diverse points of view? Do people feel comfortable coming to you with an idea that's out there? Here's a question for you. How do you employ active listening in your leadership role? Do people know that you will actively listen to them and care about what they're saying when they approach you? How do you know that? Here's the third I statement. I treat others with dignity and respect, period. I treat others with dignity and respect. This is really the bare minimum of what people expect from their leaders, that their leaders treat them with dignity and respect. I would say if you're wondering about this one, lean into this a lot more than the others. This one I think is probably the most important behavior to have to know for sure that you employ. And here's a question to help you think about that. How do you feel respected by others? What does it mean to treat others with dignity? What does that even mean? And that's for you to answer. The fourth I statement is I involve people in the decisions that directly impact their job performance. Involving people in the decisions that directly impact their job performance, it varies from industry to industry, whether that's very possible or not that possible. And a lot of times, if your direct reports are operating off of a very process-oriented job, it can feel like there's no room for this. But I would venture to say that in some way, somehow, whether it's a relationship with you or an initiative that you'd like to try to do, there is a way to give agency here. And help people feel involved in some process. Think about how important that is to feel that autonomy and power from decision making. How can you offer that to the people you work with? Here's a question. What decisions do you think your team members would like to be a part of? And I'll leave that for you to keep thinking about. But here's the fifth I statement, the fifth behavior. I give people a great deal of freedom and choice, deciding how to do their work. Again, with very process-oriented work, that can be hard to find. But knowing that it's very, very important for people to feel powerful in the work that they're doing and establishing a culture of trust, it's something we have to ask. Here's some questions. How do you give your direct reports discretion and autonomy in their jobs? Where do they have the most autonomy, do you think? How do team members hold themselves accountable? These are all parts of enabling others to act. Here's the sixth and final I statement, the last behavior. I ensure that people grow in their jobs by learning new skills and developing themselves. I ensure that as their leader. So here are some questions to help you think about that one. Think of someone you lead right now and think about this question. How would you like to see them develop professionally? Now consider this. How would they like to develop professionally? What's your best guess on that? So like any skill, enabling others to act is about employing behaviors like these 6 behaviors that I just named. Do just one of these behaviors and you become a leader who enables others to act. It's as simple as picking one, like I actively listen to diverse points of view, and seeking out a way somewhere in your work life, on your to-do list, to actively listen to a diverse point of view. Maybe that just means meeting with someone in a hallway to ask, hey, how do you see this solution? What would you do here? I'm thinking about this. How would you think about this? Could you think about this with me? So by finding one of these behaviors and deciding to employ that one this week, today, tomorrow, sometime, you are becoming the leader that enables others to act. And that's going to go such a long way for developing a culture of trust. And your team will thank you for feeling empowered in what they do. I hope that this video gives you a few tools to make that possible. Thank you.